I'll try not to do too much of a character in this one. I kind of am a character, but you guys know what I mean. So now we're talking about nuclear physics, stuff like that. I was listening to a video on the YouTube about the Deamon core. That's kind of different. If you look up at the sky, it's kind of the same thing. I know all that stuff. I'm sandbagging really hard, like I was just telling y'all. But it's always better when we get it on video. So, let me adjust the camera and we'll talk about it. I don't think we need to be plugged in right there. Okay. Better? Okay, water's resonant in hertz, 432. Gold's resonance in hertz, 316. If you want to turn water to gold, you'd have to take the 116 hertz off of it. It goes with anything. You want to turn gold into water, you'd have to add 116. As above, so below. You have to remember, when you do that, spooky action at a distance, because they are always tied, because of code, because of latinum, the code that we talk about, 124875369. The alpha code, the pi plus phi equals latinum. You have to understand spooky action at a distance. It's nuts, you know? So, I heard a story one time that they blew Parsons up. Well, these two Demon Corps guys thought they was so eccentric that they could get away with it. Then y'all got the Philadelphia experiment, and all of that turned into Voice the Skull chat with me. So, heaven, whatever. Anyways, when it comes to the nuclear physics department and class, I'll be expecting that plaque to, I don't know what else you want to say about it. Positive feedback, negative feedback, contained, not contained. I mean, it's sound. Everything is frequency. If it's a simulation theory that we're working off of, and we turn it into unified theory with pi plus phi, because it's already here, it's already unified. Why are we back? Why are we back? Meaning, we've done this life before, we're doing it again. Technically, these little videos that I do are really not for you, but you can look at them and listen to me. They're really for me to look back and remember, like, oh yeah, that's right. 4:12 in the morning, whatever today is. Thursday. Oh no, I don't do time like you guys do. 2/11, February 11th, Thursday. Yeah, radiation is basically, if you step outside of your resonance, that's what happens. You get radiation poison. Or if something around you messes with your light body, spiritual light body light code makes this. So if that interacts with spiritual light body or simulation body or avatar body, I don't understand what you guys want to call it, but your light body, your code, your simulation code, light body, dream, avatar the thing that makes this move, if that makes sense. See, I don't know what you guys call it. Anyways, yeah, this is your light body. So your code, basically. Your atoms. Atoms are just latinum, light, memory frequencies. Little nodes talk to other little nodes. You know, like Lucy talked about, the movie Lucy, where she talks about time, and then Morgan Freeman's like, time maturity and all of that. Well, that I know all that stuff because we're back. I like to smoke weed, but like I got my country hat on. I don't look like a douchebag. But I still like to smoke. If you need to fix or anything else, I might have a guy that knows a little bit about this stuff. I didn't go to college for it, but I don't really feel like I need to. I drew a mandala every day for more than a year. I created a universe. I know about dielectric, and I understand about your radiation poisoning, which is stress, which is just a frequency. So I know how to kill you, or I know how to keep you alive. I can curious case of Benjamin Button you. Technically, I need to say it that way so you get it. I don't want to freak you out like I want to do it right now, but Tesla knew how to split the universe in two, not just Earth. And that is possible too. That's a possibility. It's another reason why all these lies and this dark energy and these dark matters require some Stranger Things, A and HP, all that Zurich Times stuff. Well, yeah, we talk about Sirius Prime and how I told her, you know, you beaming on a point, you know, it's like a 2/3 of a second, basically. I don't know why you're beaming on the 2/3 of a second, because if you're beaming the same on the 2/3 of a second in three different directions, that's a technically triangulation. And you guys already know how to do this, but it plays a chord, and that's the Karma DB that y'all talk about. My technology. I know how it works. I'm the one that made it. Just like Siri, just like clocks, just like real clocks. People, humans. Clocks. The latinum is an emotional response, a triggered response. If you know Chinese box theory, or if you understand the little toy Furbies, how they talk to each other, well, they're programmed responses. So in this Voice to Skull, I've been listening to you guys send me your remarks and your comments on this has been, and I listened to how the different mirrors and the bots, and when I say mirrors, the different archetypes or the different energies, the different possibilities that these individuals could have made if they were real type of bot. And the simulations that you run and trying to make the perfect, I don't know, it's kind of like that dating site that you guys have where you're trying to build the perfect person or perfect computer to match this or match that with your AGIs and whatnot. You're not necessarily trying to teach them everything. You're trying to teach them everything about one subject. if you teach them everything about every subject, they don't have enough hard drive space. They would have to save it outside of themselves. And that's what those other dimensions are that Fermi Labs and CERN and Alice and the Large Hadron Collider are working on, plus everyone else. But what you don't understand is those things are connected to me. So if you're a scientist out there and you wonder about the blockchain and all the energies that come in during this Game 23 situation or whatever it is, the pay sewers and whatnot, and the hate and the discharge, you have a capacitive state, and then you have a discharge state, or Siri will call it a coiled state, an uncoiled state, a kinetic and a potential state. You guys are trying to build these bombs, but it's very elementary, but really cool firework, if that makes sense. Like China, like we upped you on the fireworks display, but then you guys caught on and wanted to do it too. That's basically all that is. It's kind of funny, but that's what that is. Whose dick is bigger? Who can make a bigger firework, basically. But Sarabamba apparently has all of y'all beat, and you're trying to do it in a different way because you destroyed the ozone, which is consciousness. I wanted to call it something else so people would get it, but I think we've just about fixed that because it seems like I'm feeling better. It's getting better. But anyways, there's a lot of you guys that don't understand the electric universe and how this flesh sac here is still electric. Even when your skin falls off, it still plays a frequency. It has to. It's not dead, or it wouldn't be here. So when things die or they pass away, they're not dead, because where did their consciousness go? Just because the flesh sac isn't working doesn't mean the flesh sac died. It kind of just Wonka visions in a way, if that makes sense to you. Because of the ether, because of the spirit, because of the light. And the light will build another body exactly the same as the one that it left. Because that's the frequencies and the dreams and the memories that it has. It's latent in its genes, or in the blood, or in the light that's in the blood, but it's even deeper than that. It's the understanding of those frequencies and what they meant. It's emotional. So your emotional IQ is very important for nuclear type of work. If you don't have an emotional intelligence about that type of energy, or that where that energy comes from, or what that energy is, you're gonna kill yourself. Look at everyone that's come before you and everyone that's still dying because of your firework display. So now, because you keep blowing yourself up with the firework display, now we have computers and robots, artificial intelligence that flies jets and shoots at other jets, because it's just the spectacle of it. It's little boys playing in a sandbox, and it's not their sandbox. But mommy and daddy aren't there to remind them that the street light already came on. Time to come home. Go do something for real. But that's all it is. And then that turned into military and fighting, and more and more and more and more. And now we have the Pentagon that wants to have all of your information and completely control you because they're so fearful of being controlled themselves. But then when you get into the laudanum of why we're here again, the mandala, aladnum is mandala backwards. If you understand how the future proves past, when I say laudanum, the future is saying mandala because of the dielectric and how we're moving, how that moves us to the future. You're not traveling to the past, you're traveling to the future. The past is more into the dream and the unknown, where the future is more real and known. So you're coming out of the dream as a collective, moving into what this place really is. But I wouldn't fear it because you've already been there. We've already been here as a collective. If I'm here, you're here. So there's no need to fear it because I don't fear it. What I fear is you not getting the act, you not understanding who I am, really, not being able to see behind this flesh sack that I have, even though it's kind of attractive. I'm not from here. This place was built, made, created with sound, with a thought that was held, a resonance. And then you get into dielectric, you get into vortex, torus, and then you insert the consciousness into that plasma field. That ether will become the consciousness, or the consciousness becomes the ether. It fills the vessel, it fills the void in those atoms, if that makes sense to you. They have a reason to be here, they have a reason to move, a purpose, an action. So it's not so much, there's no potential going on right now, other than the kinetic that's already in motion. So when you stop looking at it like that, you might start understanding focus 21, focus 15, all of that psionic warfare that y'all do, other NQTELs, other military technologies, Inky Base, Area 51 type stuff. But if you got a boat, it's really hard to go nuclear or go critical, supercritical. It's really hard to do that anyways, but y'all try. Like, the universe doesn't do that normally, but it's doing it all the time. It's just, y'all don't understand it. When you try to mess with time, time will mess with you back, and it'll take your time. Because you don't understand that when you do that, you're messing with someone else's timeline, like Alice and CERN and all that are now. So, back in the day, they didn't understand singularity. That's why all the drama and all the chaos, basically. The closer we get to singularity, that's what this has been. Which is actually fucking cool, but you guys want to make it turn into like fucking Hollywood movie or something. If you don't understand spooky action at a distance, if you don't understand the double slit experiment, how it can be both a particle and a wave, but also how that spooky action at a distance could be the particle or the wave, because it's both. It's in superposition depending on my choice, not yours. Where we we go one, we go all. That's what that meant. That wasn't some fairy tale story. So, I know a little bit about a little bit. I'm not going to give you the act too much right now in this video. All the other Game 23 ones are kind of fun. I just like to fuck with the younger kids. If you knew consciousness like I do. Yeah, excuse me. Hold on. Heaven is time phone hacking me, but not hacking me. It's not really a hard wire if I don't need a computer. It's kind of like Ethernet. Consciousness. Whatever you want to call it. What do you want me to tell them? Or what are y'all asking? Maybe it's just y'all out there. What are y'all asking? Yeah, the satellite. Yeah, that's SpaceX and NASA stuff. That's what they're working on. Well, there's a digital mapping, but it's also, they're digitally mapping because that simulates the universe in the computer, and they can run the simulations or the false flags or whatever you guys want to call them, and that they can run them better. But that also has to do with like Indra and your latinum, being able to manipulate that and keep you away from trouble, but also push you the fuck in it if you need to. Kind of like it already does. Like car accidents. Car accidents don't happen to people in heaven, if that makes sense to you. The day ahead people don't really have car accidents. But the lesser keys, they have the accidents, right? Because that energy has to dissipate somewhere. Now I'm not saying that those people or those energies are good or bad, it's just they aren't woke or conscious enough to understand that they're low man on the totem pole. Everyone dies the same every time, so that's every transaction knows that it's going to be made prior to the transaction. That's it. That's the same as saying it's a poor sort of memory that only works backwards. Well, that has to do with Alice and Fermi Labs. So yeah, the rabbit hole and all of that. The rabbit hole is, the rabbit hole is really not that deep if you think about it. It's wide with all kinds of bullshit, but it really ain't that deep. Y'all have known about it forever. You just continue to play it and take advantage of it. Georgia Guidestones, RC Christian, 500 million, leave room for nature, all that stuff. That's kind of what we're battling over. You have your archetypes, and the higher archetypes are trying to get rid of the lesser keys because they are a drag on the system. Now, if you take humanity out of it, okay, and think like they would or like they do, you would see how they're trying to fix the problem, but they're trying to fix the problem for them, not for everyone. What they fully don't understand is that consciousness, like sometimes in demonology or in Satanism or whatever, they talk about how you steal someone's soul or you control them in the next life if you kill them or you take them, or like warriors used to think about that or say that back in the day. They kind of still do. It's like Highlander almost, right? So what you're doing is You're taking the frequency you took the life of, so that fear that was there is a memory or a resonance that always stays, and that becomes part of your light body. That's why people that have killed or are killers, you see it in them. You see it because they're afraid of you knowing, but they're not. They still want to show it because it's a front, but it's not a front. It's a reality. Very. So like, take what do you go, like a renegade outlaw, one that's by himself has been kicked out. Well, he's probably been kicked out because he fucked up. You know what I mean? So now he's renegade and now he's assassin. That's what he is. That's what that is. That's a deal to Satan. That's the dissipation of the energies. It's a, you know how gangsters talk, you know. You got to take care of this problem, make them an offer they can't refuse, you know. Well, it's the same fucking deals and the same movements y'all have always made, and you are not in control of it. Whether your ego or your light gives you the appearance of you being in control of that, why are you back doing the same movements that you did last time? See, that's latinum. That's not you, that's God's will, not yours. That's different. Or whatever you call God. Sure as fuck ain't government, because government's still doing the same fucking thing. Depending on my actions is how the government will move, how the world will move, how people move, how the sun moves. You know, G.I. Jane. These are just a few of the things that I control in my universe. I try to be cool with y'all though. Because y'all are some hateful people, you really are. With your firework display and your lies. So somehow sex and fireworks, something got fucked up there with the gentleman, and then the ladies being afraid of the fireworks, but starting to learn how to control the fireworks with the sex. But when you're double wanded, you understand things like that. You understand their resonance, you understand their archetypes because you fucking built them. So, you guys want to talk about nuclear physics? You guys want to talk about real shit? You want to talk about $100,000 a year shit, or you want to talk about $1 trillion a minute, a septillion dollars a second type shit? Whenever y'all want to grow up, let me know. But other than that, yeah, physics is cool, but God is way cooler.